In this video, I am going to find function composition f compose g of x or f of g of x, given that f of x is this and g of x is this. Remember the definition of function composition, which says this: f composed with g of x is equal to f of g of x. So this means that we are going to evaluate the function g of x first, and whatever we get, that goes as an input to the next function, which is f. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the problem. So in our case, it's going to be f of g of x. My g of x is x minus 4, so I'm going to put x minus 4. Now let's go ahead and take this and simplify the function. So look, this is the input to f, like input to f, x here. What does it do to the input? It cubes it, squares it, and leaves it as it is, and then multiply by certain constants. It's going to do the exact same thing. It's going to take the input x minus 4, cube it, then plus 3 times the input square, that means x minus 4 square, plus 2 times the input x minus 4 minus 1. And that's going to be your function composition. By the way, I'm not going to simplify all of this here. I don't expect you to simplify it all the way. Just leave it as it is. But anyway, this could be simplified by using the cube and square formula and then combining the like terms. The main concept here is not the simplification. The main concept here is to make sure that you understand the input concept to the function and how function composition works. So function composition is basically what you're doing. You're taking a function, evaluating it, whatever the output comes out of that, you put it as an input to the next function. So let me draw a short diagram here. So you have an input going into the function g. So x goes into g. It gives you g of x. Now this g of x goes into the next function, which is f, which gives you f of g of x. This is f composed with g of x. Now, by the way, you could do the composition the other way. You just have to switch the functions. Like you give it an input x, this is going to give you f of x, and this f of x goes as an input to the next function g, which is going to give you g of f of x. By the way, this is g composed with f of x. So this is f composed with g and g composed with f. Let me just do g composed with f of x, even though that's not what I set out to do at the beginning. We did f composed with g. I'm going to do g composed with f of x, or g composition f. By definition, it's going to be g of f of x, right? Now this one is rather easy, by the way. So what it is going to be, g of f of x. So what does f of x, we have for f of x, we have the following, g of f of x, this whole thing, x cubed plus 3x squared plus 2x minus 1. So this whole thing goes as an input to g. Now what does g do to its input? It just takes the input and subtracts 4, or takes away 4 from it. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. X cubed plus 3x squared plus 2x minus 1. That's the input, and it's going to take away 4 from it. And then you can simplify it, and that's your answer. I hope that this discussion was helpful. Thank you very much.